Intelligence is not always obvious. The clever man rarely shouts his wisdom from the rooftops. For those who are truly sharp understand that the value of knowledge lies in its application, not in the applause it may attract. Most people imagine that intelligence is a matter of reciting facts, of filling one's head with the words of others, of displaying academic honors and intellectual trophies. But as Machiavelli himself knew, and as life itself demonstrates, intelligence is revealed in subtler, sharper ways, through foresight, restraint, the capacity to read others, the discipline to bend emotion into logic, and the power to influence outcomes without appearing to do so. To be smarter than most people is both a blessing and a burden. The blessing is the power it affords, the ability to navigate life with clarity, to see traps where others stumble blindly, to anticipate moves like a chess master while others play checkers. The burden is isolation. For when you see further than the rest, when you grasp motives others ignore, when you know the truth behind appearances, you must walk among men as though wearing a mask. And so, the truly intelligent man must live carefully, balancing between openness and concealment, between authenticity and strategy. The first sign that you are smarter than most people is that you understand silence as a weapon. Most people cannot endure silence. They feel compelled to speak, to fill the void with meaningless words, to spill their secrets because silence feels uncomfortable. But the intelligent man understands that silence is not emptiness. It is presence, power, and command. In a room where all others chatter, the quiet man is feared, for people wonder what he is thinking, what he has observed, what judgments he silently holds. Machiavelli wrote that a prince should be both lion and fox, and silence is the mask of the fox. It conceals, it listens, it gathers intelligence. When others reveal their weaknesses through their compulsive need to speak, you conserve strength. And so, if you know the value of silence, you are already smarter than most. The second sign is that you can detach emotion from decision. Most people are ruled by passion, swayed like leaves in the wind of anger, lust, fear, or pride. They mistake temporary emotion for permanent truth. But the truly intelligent know that emotions are storms, violent, temporary, and dangerous if one sails blindly within them. Machiavelli knew that a ruler must at times appear merciful, at times cruel, at times generous, at times frugal, not because of his own feelings, but because of what the situation demands. So too, the clever man disciplines his emotions, mastering them rather than being mastered. To feel is human. To control what one does with feeling is intelligence. If you can remain calm when insulted, strategic when provoked, rational when others panic, then you already hold an advantage most will never reach. The third sign is foresight, the ability to see consequences before they unfold. Most people act only for today, chasing immediate pleasure or reacting to immediate pain. They do not calculate the hidden cost of their choices. But the intelligent man plays life like chess. He considers the next 5 moves, not only the one at hand. When he speaks, he knows how his words will echo tomorrow. When he acts, he knows what reaction it will provoke. When he invests time, energy, or money, he imagines not only the present reward but also the future harvest. Machiavelli himself wrote that the ruin of men often comes from failing to anticipate danger, from ignoring small beginnings that grow into great problems. And so, if you are a man who looks further than the crowd, who delays gratification, who sacrifices today for a greater tomorrow, you are already moving with a mind sharper than the rest. The fourth sign is mastery of human nature. Most people see only appearances. The intelligent see motives. When someone flatters you, the intelligent man asks, what do they want? When someone insults you, he asks, what pain are they hiding? When someone promises loyalty, he asks, under what conditions will this loyalty break? Machiavelli himself warned that men are fickle, driven by self-interest, loyal only while it serves them. The clever man does not expect saints. He expects humans, with all their vanity, fear, greed, and weakness. This realism protects him, for he is never shocked by betrayal, never destroyed by disappointment, never deceived by appearances. To see people as they are, not as they pretend to be, not as you wish them to be, is rare wisdom. If you have learned to see through masks, to detect patterns of behavior, to predict the desires of others, you are already ahead of most. The fifth sign is the love of solitude and thinking. Most people dread being alone with their thoughts. They seek distraction, constant noise, constant company, because to sit quietly with one's mind is unbearable. But the intelligent man thrives in solitude, because it is in solitude that he sharpens his ideas, tests his principles, questions himself, and plans. Machiavelli himself, when exiled from politics, would return home, put on his robes, and spend the night in conversation with the great philosophers through their writings. Solitude was his strength, for it gave him clarity and perspective. If you do not fear being alone, if you can wrestle with your own thoughts without running from them, if you can build your own company within your mind, then you possess a rare intelligence most men will never taste. The sixth sign is adaptability. Most people cling to routine, to habit, to the comfort of repetition. They resist change, even when change is necessary. But the intelligent man knows that survival belongs not to the strongest, but to the most adaptable. The river carves mountains not by force, but by flexibility. Machiavelli himself argued that fortune controls half of our lives, but the other half is ours, and that those who succeed are those who adjust their methods to the times. The intelligent man does not stubbornly repeat yesterday's strategy in today's battlefield. He shifts, evolves, reinvents. He learns new skills, adopts new tools, and does not allow pride to anchor him to failure. If you can bend without breaking, shift without losing your essence, then your intelligence is already higher than a rigid multitude. The seventh sign is the power to influence without force. Most people believe persuasion is about shouting louder, commanding obedience, or arguing endlessly. But the truly intelligent know that influence works subtly, by suggestion, by framing, by planting seeds that grow in the minds of others until they believe the thought was their own. Machiavelli himself knew that appearances matter more than truth, that people follow symbols more than arguments. The clever man does not say, "You must do this." He makes others desire to do it themselves. He guides without seeming to guide. He directs without appearing to command. If you understand how to move people's hearts while disguising your hand, then you possess the kind of intelligence that few men achieve, but all men obey. And here lies the final truth. Intelligence is not merely measured by what you know, but by how you live. If you hold silence when others speak too much, if you master emotion when others are enslaved, if you foresee consequences before others stumble into them, if you read human nature while others are blind, if you embrace solitude while others fear it, if you adapt while others resist, if you influence subtly while others push clumsily, then you are already smarter than most. But with this intelligence comes responsibility. Machiavelli himself warned that knowledge without application is useless, and wisdom without strategy is wasted. The clever man must not only see, he must act. He must not only understand, he must apply. For intelligence without execution is like a sword left in its sheath, beautiful, but powerless. So if you see these signs in yourself, do not grow arrogant, for arrogance blinds even the intelligent. Instead, sharpen your gifts, conceal them when needed, and wield them when the moment is right. Remember that intelligence is not to be flaunted, but to be used, not to shine in pride, but to shape your destiny. And above all, remember this Machiavellian truth. Most people do not see the world as it is, but as they wish it to be. If you can see it as it truly is, with all its harshness, cruelty, opportunity, and possibility, then you are already walking among men like a prince among subjects, a strategist among pawns, a master among those who remain forever blind.